Disappointed and frustrated, and in the end, you're sort of hanging on to a point in the end, but it should never really have got to that stage. Say, in a game where we certainly weren't at our best. Huddersfield have scored by a mistake from us, and we've had the two clearest chances of the game. So, generally you would take that in a performance where you don't play so well, but it wasn't our day today.
Feel sorry for Shane Duffy because obviously he's had a great season, as has Lewis Dunk alongside him. They've deserved all the accolades they've got. Everyone makes mistakes, and he has today, I'm afraid. He
has, and he would always be the first one to hold his hand up. But we had plenty of time after that. That brings the game back to 1-1. Unfortunately for us, it gave Huddersfield a lift that they needed, because if anything, in that first period, I thought we were very good, and if anything, we looked like we could increase a scoreline, or certainly be the better side in that final third. But it gave them the lift that they needed. They've got good players on the ball, and they became a little bit of a threat. I thought we defended really well all game. That was one perhaps aspect of our game that I thought we were good, apart of course from the goal. But when you have the two clear chances that we have, you've got to put them away.
You haven't mentioned the red card. Clearly the game became a lot harder to win following that decision. What did you make of it?
I think it's down to a referee on the day whether they want to send a player off for that challenge. You will see numerous challenges like that on every Saturday, every match day, where two competitive players, and he's a competitive player, Davey. I don't think it was the referee that sent him off, because he couldn't have got a good enough view of it. But I think it's down to the referee on the day, and there will be, as I said, numerous challenges exactly the same as that are not shown a red card.
So you think he's got a shout from the fourth official?
Well, he certainly couldn't have made that judgment from where he was, and I'd be very, very surprised if he did.
I mean, actually, funny enough, it's one of those, because I have had the chance to see it back, and you kind of think, well, at some point, probably in this game, we'll have VAR in league football, but I'm not even sure that you'd get a consistent decision every time when you had someone looking at it on a screen.
I think it's the type of challenge that I think that decision will be split. I think there'll be a lot of individuals that watch that, pundits that watch that will think it's a competitive challenge, and there'll be the others that think it's perhaps a little bit too forceful, but but that's the game. And whether VAR would change that or not, I mean, I don't know. It's not something I'm thinking about at this particular moment. But at the time, I thought it was harsh.
Now, you've got 35 points and you've got 6 games to play, but what are 6 games they are? You're playing 5 of the top 7. And Crystal Palace, which is always a huge game when Brighton play Crystal Palace, regardless of what the situation is.
Yeah, but we knew that, and we knew that coming into these last 2 games, that if we got results in these last 2 games, favourable results in these last 2 games, we could perhaps approach them games perhaps with a little bit more comfort, if anything, the fact that we'd have had more points on the board. But we haven't. And we knew that if we didn't get the points, that every game would become bigger as they come along. And of course, this was a very big game today, and it makes the Palace game next week perhaps an even bigger one.
I just want to ask you, Ray, as well about Chris, about Ray Wilkins, because obviously you sort of steeped in London football as he was. You'll have played against him, doubtless met him at coaching seminars and all kinds of things. And of course his brother played for Brighton, Dean, and we've lost a real football guy.
Yeah, I mean, a hugely sad day, and I think everybody knew Ray well, even the ones that had only met him a few times. He was such an amicable fellow. I thought he was very good on television and radio. He wasn't afraid to criticise, but he had a manner about him that people, I think, would accept that, and accept that in the right way. And it's a very sad day for somebody to be captain of a Chelsea football team at 18 years of age. Shows something very much about an individual, and he conducted himself exactly the same way through a career, and of course through a coaching career. So feel very much for his family and those that are very close to him, but a hugely sad day and a big loss.